Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. This is a series on the Karaniya Metta Sutta, the discourse on universal love. This is a repeat of that series actually. So today, last time we mentioned that we would be discussing Metta. The Metta Sutta consists of Metta in three forms. There is Metta as Sila, Metta as Samadhi, and Metta as Panya. The Noble Eightfold Path can be ultimately resolved into these three modes of spiritual discipline: training of the mind and development of spiritual faculty. Now, Metta as Sila, that is the subject of the discourse. Partly it has been discussed last time, and today we'll continue. We'll pick up the thread where we left it. Now, Metta as Sila means Metta in action. Kaya kamma, vachi kamma, mano kamma. Now, action in three doors. That is, Metta is a bodily action, the Metta in deed. Metta is a verbal action, Metta in speech, and Metta is a mental action, Metta in thought or imagination, any kind of mental activity. So in these three forms, Metta has to be cultivated, developed and perfected in order that one may go beyond the realms of worldly existence and be liberated from all the sufferings that worldly existence invariably brings about. Now, Kaya Kamma. In Dhammapada there is a gatha. Kayena sangvaro sadhu, sadhu vachaya sangvaro, manasa sangvaro sadhu, sadhu sabbatta sangvaro. Indeed, it is good and very wholesome to have restraint and self-control through bodily action. Kaya karma, therefore, has to be understood very clearly. Action, there are two kinds of actions hereafter. So the potency of karma lies in its ability to produce result not only in this life but thereafter in future. So that is called the volitional activity, action as something which can produce result here and hereafter. So it is called Kamma Patha, courses of action which lead to rebirth, which bring about this recurring existence, life after life after life. That is one type of kamma, and it is called Janaka Kamma. That is a kamma or karma whose function is to produce a result in the form of rebirth. Now, there are three more functions. One is Janaka Karma, that is rebirth producing karma. The other is supportive karma, Janaka Upathambhaka, that which supports life supporting karma. After one is born in a plane of existence, the living process as such is maintained by the supportive actions. Janaka karma has just one function. It gives rebirth in the mother's womb, and there ends its potency is over there. Thereafter, supportive karma takes over and enables the being to live till the end comes. The end may come in the womb itself, or end may come at a later stage after parturition. That is, after the person is born, he is born as a, let us say, as a human being or any other being. Or at any stage of life, early life, in the middle, this middle portion of life, or at the old age, at the end of life. So, the supportive action only supports this ability to live on until such time when the opposite of supportive karma takes over, which is called upaghataka. Ghataka means that which destroys, marana, that which brings about death, in a natural way or in an unnatural way, in a timely way, in an untimely way. So, supportive karma and its opposite. Supportive karma protects life, supports life, and enables one to live a span of life, whatever the span be. The opposite does, the opposite upaghataka does away with that. It takes away, it deprives you of the pleasure of living. Now, these are the three functions. Now the fourth one is upapilaka karma. Upapila. Pila means that which troubles, that which counteracts, that which brings about all kinds of difficulties. Now I'll give you an example. You have heard about the name of Henry Ford. He was not even a mechanic. He just tinkered about with a little bit of this, little bit. He is master of none and jack of all trades. That's the type of man he was. So he somehow got into his head the idea that he is going to build a motor car. And the motor car at a very, very cheap rate, which is affordable. Anybody and everybody can buy it. And that is how he started his motor company. He successfully got around number of, shareholders and directors and all that sort of thing, built a company. And he literally created a new type of manufacturing skill known as, assembly line technique. Now those days motor cars were very rare and they were being manufactured by different people in different ways and very laborious way. So these gentlemen first of all said, okay, I will count the number of parts that goes into the making of a motor car. And he counted them some 300 and odd numbers of parts. And then he put 300 and odd number of people in one line, assembly line. And then each one having one part to assemble, just to put it. And that is how, at the very beginning, you are nothing but a man holding a bolt and nut. And at the end, a whole engine, motor car engine was assembled. Then it went to the second assembly line, where the body was built, and this engine was, put on that body. And in the third assembly line, something else, and at the end, it started with a nut and bolt, and at the end of the third assembly line, a car came out. And a man also ready to buy. He also made it easy for anyone to buy it through banking system or any other. So he sold this car at such a cheap rate that even a lower middle class person could buy. And later on, even a working class people could buy. So he made absolutely, literally pots and pots of money. But that is where the counteractive action comes. Now this gentleman who earned so much of money that he could not count, the amount of money that came in to his company, and he had a large number of employees, and they couldn't count them, so much, heaps of them. In bagfuls the money arrived. And now, so they again created a new system. They started weighing that money. They said, well, each dollar bill has got this much of weight. Very good. So, on the basis of this weight, they weighed the money and found out so many thousands per minute he made. Well, so much of money. The richest man in the whole of America, and later on throughout the world. But what was his condition of life? He could not eat any food. No eating whatsoever. Just drinking. And what is it that he could drink? Just a glass of barley water. Boiled barley water, that is just he could take. And that too of a certain specific gravity, thickness. If that glass of barley water was little thicker, then you will have 100 purge. And you will be in real trouble. So he had to appoint a doctor just to find out the specific gravity of that particular liquid and just live on that 2 or 3 times a day. So you can see, he had so much of wealth, he had everything, good family, big family at that. But he was deprived of the essential, the very fundamental need for life, requirement for life, namely eating. This is what counteractive works, counteractive karmas do. It counteracts whatever good things that may accrue to you as a part of your good fortune, disease, this, that, poverty, bad name, all kinds of ways it will counteract. It will bring misfortune when you are supposed to enjoy fortune. Now, metta does away with counteractive function. Anger brings about counteractive action, particularly hate and enmity. These are the opposites of metta. You see, metta is the opposite of hate, opposite of harboring enmity. And that is a very, very horrible thing that a human being can have. Because you can literally, when you harbor enmity against somebody, and it is not against some one person or two person or anything, no. A whole community. Or you use a word and dump the entire world into somebody that you see against whom you have enmity. You say, let us say, enemy, vairi, so and so is my vairi, my enemy, and it's my right to hate him, be angry, destroy him under any circumstance. So by harboring enmity, a whole lot of people can be destroyed without ever thinking that these are human beings. There are women, there are children, there are old men, and there are people of my own religious faith. Now you become a fanatic, you become some kind of a terrorist, you contribute to a certain belief system, and the rest who don't contribute to your belief system becomes enemy. And you can perpetrate any crime against such when you say that so and so is dushman hai, is my enemy, is my vairi. That is why Bhagavan Buddha said, Nai verena verani sammanti dhakudachanan averena cha sammanti esa dhammo sanantano. By enmity can never end. It can never be stilled. Only by non-enmity, non-hatred, non-hostility, that means metta. Only through metta can one bring about an end of enmity. Now suppose in our day-to-day life something happens. A large number of people just shot dead, cold-blooded murder without a second thought. And he chose places where the largest number of people gather and just go and shoot them blindly and kill hundreds and thousands. And he's not merely killing a few people. What about their families? A person who is killed may be a breadwinner or maybe a mother. Or in so many ways, a human being lives a gregarious life. You see, a communal life. So, a whole lot of people are affected by the death of this particular being. But a man who is harboring enmity by using a certain word without ever thinking the consequence, what will happen on the society as a whole. Now I am giving you this example because the thoughts I have is about Iraq, which can be extrapolated to India also. Now, there are two groups of people having the same faith, same religion. A third person comes in and somehow occupies your country, uses all democratic principles and all those things in a topsy-turvy way and justifies occupation. And so it created so much hatred between brother and brother, sister and sister, mother and son, and father and daughter. So these people become absolutely blinded with enmity if the other person belongs to the other group. Why? That other group has harmed my group. When the other group ruled, my group suffered. That's the rationale. Result, just wipe them out, let it be anybody who belongs to the other group. Blind enmity. Hundreds and thousands of people are destroyed in cold-blooded murder, and all in the name of your own religion, your own group, your own, friend circle or whatever. This kind of blind, madness can happen to anybody, anywhere in the world, if you have the feeling that so-and-so is my enemy. So Lord Buddha gave a great solution to this problem of mindless, absolutely blind rage created by hostility and enmity. He said, in action, my dear, do one thing. Get up in the morning, first thing as you get up, maybe on your bed itself, sit down or even lie down, close your eye and just tell yourself, may I, at least for this day, may I be free from enmity. free from anger and hatred and hostility. And that is how may I live happily. That is how may I not suffer. When a person has enmity or any ill feeling, then the person automatically gets prejudice of all kinds. And prejudice is a blind emotion. It has no rationale whatsoever. It makes you do things that you will otherwise never do. So you say, no, may I be free from enmity and hostility or hatred, so that I may not suffer. Because when I suffer within harboring enmity, anger and hate and hostility, I have the mind to take revenge, badalao, retaliate under all circumstances. Today's world, with all the scientific development and material prosperity, mankind is in great danger, not from atom bomb, from a hostile or enemy country, but by sheer feeling of enmity. One man harboring enmity against another man or woman. This mental blindness is so very pernicious, so much detrimental to human well-being and human happiness. Just by this feeling of enmity. Now, imagine young people, educated people who are brainwashed by their religious, some teachers or whatever, or by their intellectual lopsided thinking. They are able to think, but think in an absolutely perverted way, a way by which you do nothing but harbor more and more hate, more and more enmity, more and more, and suffer more and more as a result. And to get rid of your suffering, you must now retaliate. That means you must now put your suffering onto somebody else's. What is retaliation? You are suffering, so okay, I am suffering, so let me see the other fellow also suffer. That is retaliation. That is revenge. And why this revenge comes? Because belief in violence. Plain truth. Once you believe in violence, that through violence alone you can solve your problems of life. And violence is justified because human life itself is born of violence. This kind of rationale, once you have that in your mind and you justify violence and you believe in violence as a mode of solution, solve life's problems and difficulties. From that time you create let us say, an outlook, a mindset that is so perverted that it becomes your life's philosophy to destroy. So belief in violence is at the root of all suffering today in the world. With all the prosperity and scientific developments, with all the intelligence, with all that, life becomes absolutely filled with insecurity and meaningless. And all this is because of the feeling of enmity. So Lord Buddha says, my dear, get up in the morning, whether you are lying down or seated, just tell yourself very seriously, you take the first of all, Tisarana, say, Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Lord Buddha, the embodiment of love and compassion, I take refuge in him, so that compassion of the Master, the love of the Master may also come within me, so that I too may one day become enlightened like him. So Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. The light of wisdom that surrounds the Buddha and that illuminates all the world throughout, so long his teaching prevails, the teaching of love, teaching of compassion, teaching of plain human goodness, humanity. Now you take refuge in him, because that is the heart of his teaching. Being as a human being, become humane, become benevolent, and that you can do by giving up enmity, by promoting the well-being and happiness of all beings. That is the essence of metta. You seek to promote your own well-being and happiness. Do the same thing on others. So, get up and say, may I today, Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. The holy order of his enlightened disciples, who too are the very embodiment of love and compassion, being enlightened and carrying the message of enlightenment throughout the world, wherever they are, in some way or other, in action, in speech and in thought. So you take saranam, you take refuge in them, means seek their protection. And the protection is there, amply there and always there. If you have the faith, if you have the trust, if you have the conviction that Buddha being enlightened can also bring enlightenment in others. So you commit yourself totally to that. Atma Samarpanam. Surrender your self-interest in the interest of the good of all by taking refuge in the Buddha. So doing that, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, take up the Panchashila. That is your commitment. Your taking Sharana becomes useless, empty words, unless you put the Sharana into action in the form of Shila. So you say, Panatipata Vermani, I voluntarily undertake. Nobody is forcing me to do that. I myself want to do it. On my own volition, intentionally, I refrain from killing, which simply means promote the well-being of all life. You put it in the negative language of I will not kill. But what does that mean? It simply means I will save. I will protect the life of all life. I won't harm anybody. May I not harm anyone. May I harbor no thought of ill will. May I harbor no thought of anger or enmity. That is it. So once you condition your mind consciously, deliberately by this mental action, which is the most powerful of all the three forms of action, you say, may I be free from enmity, but promote the well-being of all beings. Promote goodwill and friendliness everywhere. May I by that be free from anger, by not harboring the idea of enemy, harboring the idea of that justifies mental violence, or believe in violence. Enmity, harboring enmity is believing in violence. So may I not have any one of these, therefore may I not suffer. And when I don't mentally suffer, inwardly suffer, then I don't also bring suffering in others. When I don't suffer, I don't bring suffering in others. That is the simple philosophy of metta. So if you do that in the morning, first thing, may I be free from enmity, free from anger and hostility, and be free from suffering, so that may I be happy and bring happiness in all. Just this bit, first thing in the morning. If you are too busy type, cooking up all kinds of ideas in the head from the time you get up, how to make money, how to do this, how to be corrupt, how to hit somebody, all those horrible things, that is all mental violence. So if you can get out of that by saying this in this positive way, and then translate that into action and speech, you can be 100% certain that if you do this in the first thing in the morning, condition your mind in a positive way, in a loving way, in a friendly way, then whatever will follow from that kind of mind will be also loving action, loving speech. You see? So when you feel, just you see somebody whom you had previously dubbed an enemy. Now you see that man, enemy, you no longer think, no, this is not this, he is not my enemy. He is a human being, he is a brother human being. I don't want to hate him, I don't want to hurt him, I don't want to do anything wrong to him. I seek happiness, may he also be happy. So this thought will automatically turn your action positive, your speech positive. Now with this I conclude. Today this much will have metta as an action. By conditioning the mind in a wholesome and positive way. May the grace of Bhagavan Buddha surround your lives with well-being and wisdom, and may you be able to practice metta in your day-to-day life by not harboring enmity towards anyone or retaliation. Now that will be the subject next time. How can we equip the mind not to hit back? What are the qualities that enables us to do that? That will be it. May you all be happy. Sukhino bhavantu.